Hey, what's up guys, welcome to my video. Today I want to bring you guys a subject about JDM cars, whether or not it's a good decision for regular folks like you and me in 2021 to go ahead and purchase one. But before we get into it, I prepare a B-roll for you guys, aka some videos about my car, stuff like that. So please let me know what you guys think about it. Let's go ahead and watch that. Alright guys, back on it. So let me set some parameters out here real quick before I get blasted about all this stuff and talking about stuff that I don't know about. I know all that stuff. Alright, first, I'm not talking about showroom cars. Okay, I'm not talking about cars that are completely in the best conditions ever. All right, back on. We're not talking about cars that are showroom quality. And what I mean by that is they're in mint conditions and or have very, very low mileage. I'm talking about cars that have more than 25,000 miles, but no more than, I don't know, 125,000 miles. Let's call it that. I think that's a good mileage around there to buy one of these cars, because they are 25 years or older. So I'm talking about cars that regular people like you and me want to buy. Cars that are not completely beat up, and cars they are not so mint that we cannot afford. So I'm not talking about cars that go in showrooms and start off price of 100,000 miles, like last year the Mark IV Supras. In the showroom, if they were in mint condition, they started off almost $100,000. I'm not talking about those cars, and I'm not talking about cars that are extremely beat up either. They're only gonna cost you like $6,000 because they're just not even in running conditions. Yeah, just take those out of the way from the beginning. If you are in the market for these cars, they are getting very expensive. Cars that were $10,000 last year, $15,000 last year, are $15,000 to $30,000 this year. So, do I think people should go ahead and pull the trigger and buy these cars now? Now is the time, because now you can import them, most of them, and B, you're not gonna catch them in a ridiculous high price. So they are going up in price, but they're still somewhere affordable. And like I say earlier, we're not talking about showroom cars or beat up cars. You want to buy a car, a JDM car that is mostly stock. I'm not gonna say that you're gonna find a perfect sample You know what I mean? Unless you are very lucky, you are gonna find cars with some mild modifications, but you definitely don't want to buy a car unless you know the past owner and know exactly what everything was done to the car and know pretty much completely the history, you know what I mean, of the car. Don't purchase a car that is completely modified and then after you buy the car, you're just gonna spend the money trying to fix it. Just don't do it. Might as well just spend the extra money and get you a car that is in mostly stock conditions, that is actually gonna be reliable, because it don't matter what car you have, you can have an NSX, and if that thing doesn't run, then you don't really have an NSX. Okay, that's just my thought, that's my opinion on it. I prefer a stock car than a heavily modified, non-running car. See where I'm going with this? So, with that being said, there's a couple things you gotta watch out when you are trying to buy these cars. And A is engine swaps. Believe it or not, here in Japan, if you have a car that is engine swap, it needs to be registered to be able to ship it, to export it. So you need to be able to have the paperwork saying that you swap that engine before you're trying to import it back to the US or export it back to the US. Or then make sure your chassis is not rusted. You know, I mean, Japan has a very wild weather. It's very it goes from like, you know, I mean, it has all the seasons in here, so the cars are gonna get heavily impacted by the weather. But all right, guys, I'm about to head to the gym. When I come back from the gym, we'll keep talking about this. So, little cut right here. So what it comes down to, at the end of the day, if you really are in the market for this type of cars, and I'm talking about JDMs, they are now legally or going to be legal to import to the US. Just don't forget these things. All right, quick side note here, guys, to give you an example. My car last year, around February, that's when we purchased a car, me and my wife. Well, technically my wife purchased a car for me because it was a gift for me. She paid $10,000 for it. Okay, so $10,000 for an Evo 4 stock. The only thing that it has is a muffler. So you could say it's modified, but that's the only modification this car has. Besides that, low mileage. We bought it with 70,000 miles on it, and it came up from somewhere in the area of Tokyo. I can't even pronounce the actual name of it, but we talked to the dealership. He told me at the beginning it was like 10K, and then plus shipping and plus the other stuff, and we ended up bringing it down just to 10 grand with the taxes, shipping, JCI alone like $1,000. So with everything, it was $1,000. I mean $10,000. And a buddy of mine is looking for an Evo 2 because he likes Evos too, and a car there's mildly modified. It has a couple mods. It has an intake. It has a couple changes. It has a boost adjuster and all that stuff. And it has about 90,000 miles. So, and the same people that sold the car, I'm not gonna say it was something car or anything like that, but the same company, it's now asking $17,500 for that car, which is ridiculous. That's almost like a, I don't know, 70% increase on the price from mine to his, which it should be lower on price because it's lightly modified and it has more mileage in it. So all these cars are going expeditiously fast up in price. In less than a year, we've seen a 50-60% increase in the price. I think in the next 5 years it will plateau, and that's where the car's going to stay up for a while. But for now, if you want to cash the car in a decent price, for now, I'll say do it during this year. Go ahead and purchase the car. Make sure it's a good car. Make sure it's not heavily modified, like I said. Make sure there's no rust in the chassis. Make sure it has no crashes, stuff like that, unless you are aware of. They're pretty good out here in Japan, giving you the records of the car and stuff like that. So yeah, guys, just make sure you're straight and go ahead and do it if you have the money for it. Yeah, guys, if you like this video, click the thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Check me out on my social media. I'm pretty active on it. If you guys have any questions, just put it in the comments below, or hit me up on my social medias, like I said. Yeah, I'll catch you guys later.